resets amounting to 4 kills so far. Ollie, which is usually the first one to die, is going to be the last one, and RLS are going to sweep that. Welcome back to Friend or Foe Esports, ladies and gentlemen. Week 2, Day 2, Game 2 of the Heroic League on our Tuesday. What most of FOF would pass off as Match of the Week. On the blue side, we have the returning winners, YUBI, and on the red side, we have Baby. With both teams sitting pretty at 3-0, there's a lot at stakes for these teams here. And same as before, bringing you the voices behind the cast, my name is Whirler, and with me I have Lolo.
Well, I'm so excited. I mean, this could be, the finale. I always get the early shift, of course, so I am super excited to be casting this one because, yeah, this is the one that everyone wants to see. Returning champions, new favorites. These teams have played each other in lock-ins. Baby took that win. They, I believe, are undefeated so far in both lock-in and regular season of FOF so far. This is going to be spicy. And one thing we do have to admit as we do get into draft, firstly, Antunes is getting banned out. No surprises there because he's cracked. I will add that, unfortunately, it's going to be Freelancer. I mean, it's lovely to see Freelancer, who is also an FOF veteran, but it's not going to be Jeff Godgamer in that ADZ position for Yumi as it normally would be. It is going to be Freelancer subbing in. So that is something, of course, that we're going to have to keep an eye on because that bot lane, especially with how nasty Antunes is as a support, as you can see, this Blitzcrank, this Thresh, they are trying to ban him out because that could be a real weak point for the side of YUBI in this game. So we'll have to see how they decide to draft and whether they want to instead potentially prioritize their solo lanes because Red has been on a tear so far this season.
Absolutely, and this is the first time me seeing Universal Basic Income in this season. Is that the same Red as Champion Red?
It is, yes.
I'm seeing a third role come out of Red and its top lane, and seeing them at 3-0 impresses me beyond belief. Red has always been one of my favorite players here in FOF, and I'm so excited to see him not only in a new role, but to see him flourish in this new role so far. So far, the only two picks we have right now are Vigar, which is starting to see a comeback in the meta, which is very, very cool to see, and Hecarim, a remnants of a past meta that I still like seeing around.
Yeah, so Sweezy is going to be locking in the Lissandra. That's a bit of comfort there. And Dax very happy to lock in a power pick, which is the Hecarim. Super strong at the moment with the Chem Tank, of course. Able to make fantastic plays all over the map. That is so. Red has been making work happen with this Urgot. Now, I remember last season, I think I was in chat or something, and I was saying, guys, we've got to, because I was wondering, I didn't know Urgot itemization. I said, guys, this Urgot, it was in a previous FOF, season game. Urgot's building a Titanic Hydra rush. What do we think about this? Because I was just talking about itemization in chat. Red DM'd me and said, look, if you build Titanic and you've maxed your Q, that is 1v9 potential right there. Red knows this champion. This is the champion that Red has been on a tear on so far in the FOF season, and he's on it once again. I think Jaffe's going to have his work cut out for him in this game.
It's looking, it sounds like it. I'm excited to see Red pilot this Urgot, and so far, this first draft so far looks pretty versatile. Not versatile, but very open to what they want their comp to finally be with their last two picks on Universal Basic Income being jungle and AD carry. Very, very could lead into a lot of things for YUBI. And with Trundle taking off the table, that is one thing that Baby does not want to see in this comp. And with Jinx being banned on the side of Universal Basic Income, it denies them a lot of probability into scaling out of this game.
Yes, and of course the Karma being locked in by Baby is a nice pick actually, I think, here, because of course it can be flexed into the top lane or even the mid lane should they wish to. I mean, it's not going to be the mid lane this game, of course, because it is Lissandra already locked in for Sweezy, but nevertheless, Antunes is much more of a... Obviously, Antunes can play Enchanters, but Antunes is an engaged support player primarily. Of course, his two power picks have been taken off the table, so this is something they could, continue to lock in. But yeah, Baby are keeping their bot lane cards close to their chest. YUBI have already said, look, if you're picking an engaged support, we've got a Janna. We're going to try to, mitigate that, neutralize that lane, because we know you're going to want to play around this lane, because that's what you've been doing already. So Baby, they've got their options here. They've got a first pick, of course, in the bot lane. YUBI still to lock in their jungle, of course. And it is going to be a GP coming out for Jaffe. That is Jaffe's bread and butter, by the way, and we haven't mentioned that it did make it through the draft. So now I did mention that he might have his work cut out for them. I am super excited to see this top lane matchup.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And with the rest of the draft for YUBI planning out in these next 2 picks, we get to see exactly what they want to go for with their comp, because they are still open to a lot of play styles with Janna, with Veigar. And so far, we're going to get it right now. It's Mundo. That's a Mundo jungle. I don't know if it's first of its kind, but definitely something that I haven't seen out of Utility Monster just yet. Utility Monster is known for, drafting in a peculiar way, and honestly, I really like what I see coming out of Universal Basic or Income so far.
Of course, I mean, you could... It's not unheard of to have the Urgot jungle. I don't think it's going to be this time around, but it is... Oh, my goodness.
Hold on. It's Veigar bot.
So, yes, I think it is. And that means it's most likely going to be... this is a real pivot. It's going to be utility on the Skarner. There's no question about that.
Okay.
I think it's going to be maybe a lane swap or something like this, where we're going to see. I mean, red is definitely going to be, I think, on the Urgot most likely.
Baby matched it.
Yeah, they did. And Stax just said, "All right, I'm." Oh my! Wait a minute. We haven't even talked about there's a Karthus in the game and a Hecarim, by the way.
Right. No, Karthus just getting picked up, matching the mage.
It's yeah. So I think we're going to be seeing we're going to be seeing Karthus ADC with Karma. We're going to see Veigar with Janna. That's I think what we're most likely to. I mean, well, I'm at a bit of a loss here because honestly, I thought I had a handle on what these teams were trying to do a moment ago, but now I'm completely. I think I just need to see what. Yeah.
So what I'm seeing so far is Mundo. It might be either Mundo mid or Civillock and Red are going to be swapping lanes. With that being said, I'm looking forward to one heck of a game. Spicy draft coming out from both teams, as I did shout out before from Utility Monster. And honestly, I'm excited to get into this game number 2. But before we do that, there is something I do want to shout out first and foremost before we get into too far into this game. FOF does have a magazine, ladies and gentlemen, FOF Connect. Some of you have heard of it, some of you haven't. Please go check it out on our website, FOFesports.com. Lolo, do you have a few things to say about it?
I think that the next issue of FOF Connect is going to be talking a little bit about this draft, and someone is going to be asking some questions and saying, how did this monstrosity come about? As we do see some scrapping here from, it is fantastic, by the way. Yeah, it's going to be red on the Mundo and Civillock with the ghost mid lane. Urgot, that is some sauce right there.
You know what? It happened. It's here. It's happening. So let's see exactly what happens during it. It's a very AD. It's a very AD lacking game. However, the 2 champions in here who are who are mostly AD, if not full AD, are powerhouses when it comes to the physical damage. So it's not one to be sort of thrown out and tossed out. We're going full MR, especially with GP's case. GP later in the game does insane amounts of damage.
He does indeed. There is quite a lot of tank on the side of YUBI, and that's crucial because they are going to be needing to deal with a lot of burst damage from this first strike GP. Who there'll be a lot of trading of, I think, poke up in the top side. I think Red's job, primarily is just to try to land cleavers, stop Jaffe getting his first strike procs in, and that means that because GP needs to scale up to actually do vast amounts of damage later in the game, as we mentioned. So if Red is able to try to mitigate that, not let him get ahead too much. Try to be careful of any potential ganking from Dax, who is going to be going for a full clear, of course, taking his Krugs. He could look for something, but of course, a Mundo not particularly easy to gank early. Nevertheless, Red can sort of play damage control here. The bot lane, YUBI definitely have a pretty good scaling team. I mean, both of these sides do have pretty good scaling, as well as you mentioned, quite an AP-focused game.
Ooh, double NATO flash from Antunes to force the flash out of Freelancer. Good poke as well. Does take a turret shot for the troubles. But the level 2 from Baby is going to prove a lot of... It's enough to force the flash out of Veigar, that's for sure. A good tornado from Janna as they hit level 2 to sort of slow down their engage. Not going to amount to much more than that, though.
No, and I mean, Freela, it is going to be a trade of two summoners for one because Antunes burnt everything there to try to get the kill onto Freelancer, who is going to be able to sustain up with those potions. So overall, they are going to be on the offensive early. Karma is such a strong early laner, of course, and the Janna is once again, as I said, playing damage control, as we are seeing some quite aggressive trading in the top side. Are they going to go for a level 2? They are!
Flash from YUBI or Flash from Red is not going to amount in a kill. Doesn't trade with Jaffe either. Is still at a bit of a standstill. Both top laners are very low after that, especially after the E from Mundo just now. Jaffe and Red duking it out just like we thought they would in Jaffe's prime Gangplank example. I'm excited to see where this one goes. Red is taking a little bit of a top lane CS lead, however.
Mundo, gigantic base stats, is definitely going to have the better of that early matchup. He could cheat a recall here if he wanted to, but he's actually going to elect to stay in lane and try to continue to harass Jaffe, just, force him to potentially, if he can get the kill, even if he can just get him to burn his TP, he's going to maintain that advantage because he's got push. So I can understand it for sure. Equally, of course, he's got the sustain advantage because that is Mundo. He's going to heal as utility.
Oh, good stun onto P Sweezy, traded with a root. Civillock eating forward, flash out of P Sweezy is going to be able to get out of that alive. Utility Monster is going to take that and cash it out. Take it to the bot scuttle, which is taken. So it is a little even in terms of jungle. Both junglers have taken the same amount of camps. Hecarim is backed and already got his boots. Tier 2 boots on Hecarim, pretty good for his stats, given his passive. Coming back onto the map, Skarner is on the same spot as Hecarim, so they're basically in the same position, except Hecarim is up an item.
Yes, he is. He's managed to get his base off first, which is great stuff from Dax, of course. One of these, if not the strongest jungler in the league at the moment. He's back on his Krugs. He's looking at top side, I'm sure, because Red has spent a lot of time in this lane. Jaffe has been forced to burn his TP. He's got a Sheen now, so he will win trades, but Red, crucially, still has that TP available. It does look like he is going to potentially, as we can see up here, he's a bit pushed in. He can burn the TP if he wants to. In the mid lane, Sweezy doesn't have a flash at the moment, but he's got TP once again. Dax is hovering. He isn't in too much danger necessarily. But so far, it's really just exchanging summoner spells, not much more than that. And as I said, it's a scaling game, so both of these sides have a lot to play for. They don't need to overcommit too much early.
That is correct. We're going to be seeing a slow start to the game as both of these teams are trying to find a way to make this draft work. I mean, GP scales immensely, and Karthus in the late game is just an utter annoyance. I mean, everyone has played against the late game Karthus, spawned back in on the map, and then you start with half your health. I'm sure everyone loves that. Karthus hasn't been seeing too much play in the bot lane in, I think, 4 or 5 years now. I think he became meta in the bot lane. Something like that, but speaking of early game plays, we have Baby taking an early dragon away from YUBI to start off with a dragon taken 10 minutes earlier than the previous game.
Yes, this is a much more proactive start from Baby. They're not going to make too much of they're not going to cut things out very early there. If they have the bot prior, which they do, as they should do with the Karma, then there's a lot of clear that this bot lane has. So particularly when they're not playing against a kill lane, they do actually have the luxury of, because they banned out all of those engaged supports from Bill. Bill, in fact, it was YUBI who banned them out, but it does mean that they early pick the Janna, is what I'm trying to say. So there isn't a kill lane there. There's a disengaged lane. So Baby said, look, we'll play for poke then, that's fine. We'll get ourselves some advantage in the bot lane, and that is going to allow them to pick up an early Drake. Dax very happy to play around that bot side. He is building himself, that's a win condition. As I said, it's a scaling game, so if they want to start playing for Soul, that's a nice way for them to build themselves a win con as well.
Absolutely, and we're back on the neutral of the game as we have predicted and are seeing, with Freelancer taking a slow from Karthus. Going to take a lot of poke from that. Not too much going to be going on the map. Rift Herald is coming up in about, I believe that should be 30 seconds. And not looking like either jungler is making a move for it just yet. Hecarim is the closest to it, is taking the second red buff of the game. Skarner coming down for a bottom lane gank. Both of them have their flash. Antune is going to bust it out first, but Karthus going to take his flash, cleanse out of the Vigar wall, flash away, and they're going to turn around for the 2v3, force the heal out of Freelancer. Not going to amount to any kill, not going to amount to anything just yet. The Karthus ulti is held. Don't think it's enough to secure the Vigar just yet, so he is going to hold that and take his base.
Yeah, and Luru, fantastic. Ooh, hello.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, Gangplank all being thrown, Hecarim all to follow with Red flashing away. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get out as GP is able to stack him up +6 gold for his trouble. First blood on the map, and Gangplank's going to be the proud holder of that one.
Yes, that was a very nicely executed gank from Dax. Antunes! Oh, this is what he was going for.
We'd love to see a good shield from Jenna to mitigate a lot of that damage. Antunes is still playing on the offense, and Karthus is able to get back into lane, force them out. They're going to be able to push this under tower before the enemy, or before YUBI's bot lane is able to get back. So that's going to be a little bit of a CS denial. Good play from Karthus and Antunes to be able to get that advantage. They will be able to get a CS lead off of that, I'm pretty sure, off of this next wave.
It's not just that, he's got first strike, so when he's gonna be happy to press R on cooldown because it's free gold, yeah? So
Yes.
with Antunes trying to pick himself up, maybe a free kill would be beautiful. But either way, Luru is happy to continue to press that R button. As you said, a free shove. They are going to deny a little bit of CS. I mean, Freelancer and Bill the Pony getting back to lane relatively quick. So he does get the cannon. That's a bit of a win, but nevertheless, yes, that is going to give Luru more gold. Luru is loving this because if he can get to his mythic early, then suddenly those Requiems are going to start doing a lot of damage.
Very much so, especially with double burn, if he does elect to go the second burn item, Demonic Embrace.
Yes, absolutely. And I think he'd be very much in his right to, given that it is a very tanky team that YUBI have drafted. So, yeah, the last pick Karthus here, definitely, if they can scale it up, could be a really big win for them.
Jaffe taking a really good trade on Red. Red does not look like he's in a good situation at all. Does ulti to force a trade. This is going to be a fight to the death. And the auto reset from YUBI. Red is going to pick that up, trading solo. Good reaction on the ulti to sort of turn that one around, Jaffe, and really give him a run for his money, literally, as he purchases the Essence Reaver as his first item.
I mean, you think you've got a Mundo, but if you don't have anti-heal, the Mundo will he'll get you like that. So that's a rough one. However, Freelancer, Will the Pony, they might be caught out. 3v3.
Good NATO from Janna to stop P-Sweezy from getting in on that utility monster. Getting close to that ulti is going to happen, but it's going to be traded by a Sandra ult, which will not matter because the Primordial Burst from Freelancer will still pick him up despite the range of Skarner ultimate being mitigated by the Lissandra ult. Still very good. Dragon coming up in 10 seconds, and with one member down of Baby, hopefully YUBI can get as much prio as they can on this one and sort of secure it for themselves. Jaffe pushing up the top lane. Does get 2 plates for himself. 2-1 in plates in the top lane. Ocean Dragon is on the offense.
It is going to be an Ocean Drake that's going to allow YUBI to equalize the Drake count. We are going to see in just a moment what soul it's going to be, which I think is going to be crucial in this game.
Very much so. I mean, it's between Cloud for Hecarim.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
The gates have opened.
The gates have indeed opened, and I think that's the second time this game we've seen Hex Dragon, or the second time tonight we've seen Hex Dragon. Mundo ulti, not up just yet, not gonna matter. Karthus ulti was popped for that as well. I don't think it did too much because of the spell shield. It didn't look like it did anything at all, but I'm pretty sure that Karthus still got his money's worth for that, and they're gonna pick up Champion Red once again in the top lane.
Yeah, you see, in the isolated 1v1, he can still get the better of the GP, particularly when he's still, he didn't have his Mythic online. But this is what I was talking about. I mean, I was going to praise, we didn't get a chance to it, but Dax beautifully executed gank on Red previously, and another one there. The dual CC nature of the Hecarim between his E, the charge, and the Onslaught of Shadows means that he can fear the Mundo very, very easily because he's going to pop the passive as soon as he rides into him. And that means that he is able to set up ganks in a way that some other junglers might not do, who only have one method of CC. So well played from him. That is going to allow 2 kills now onto Jaffe, which is exactly where they want them to be, because if they can continue to build this dual kind of global damage pressure between the Cannon Barrage and the Requiem. If both of them are scaled up, that's a lot of resistances that YUBI have to stack to deal with it.
Absolutely, and that is a very scary threat in terms of the team comp. Oh, the Cage thrown onto Antunes. This is going to take a little bit of poke for that, actually. Almost taking about to half. Dax on the Krugs, YUBI and Jaffe, or Red and Jaffe, are looking like they're going to scrap again. Dax on the are getting cornered by Utility Monster, and
oh my god,
going to be two fronts for this fight. Jaffe going down to red without a trace. P-Sweezy and Dax on the other hand. The second front of this fight, Civillock flashing off. The ulti going wide, that's so unfortunate. And Lissandra's going to pick up a double kill. YUBI Red looking like he's going to be trying to, salvage something from that. But it's not going to amount to anything. That's a 2-for-1 trade for Baby. 2 for 2 because in the bot lane, Primordial Burst was used again. Karma's going to take another L.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't get a chance to see that, but nevertheless, it is going to be trades across the map. It's still a super even game. Once again, Jaffe is going to get caught out in the 1v1. He's building, as you can see, he's building lethality. He wants to pop these squishies like the Veigar, so he is going to inherently lose the 1v1 to the tank. This is why Dax is having to play babysit up there in the top lane so often. He is, he's going to be happy because he will eventually outscale the Mundo necessarily. And of course, he does have the opportunity to provide pressure on the other side of the map.
Dax Utility Monster on the bot side. Build a Pony forced to flash out of that one. Skarner does not have the ulti for this one. Dax is in a bit of trouble now. Does get out scot-free though. Karthus ulti is going to put a lot of people in a scare. Stopwatch coming out from Build a Pony to deny some gold away from Luru's Karthus ult. And there's still so much pressure from Baby, especially on the bot side of the map. Jaffe coming to pick up mid from Civillock. Civillock, good autos from the W onto those barrels to deny wave clear from Jaffe.
He's gonna get caught though.
P-Sweezy is on the offense, does have the ulti. They're not going to try to lock him down though. Civillock will get out of that one scot-free as well.
Now this is crucial, yeah? So the Liandry's is online. Let's have a look. The first strike has so far given him 260 bonus gold. That's not bad at 15 minutes. That is going to scale up massively because this is a late game rune. We didn't think it was when it first was introduced at the start of the season because it would give you so much, additional gold early game. But the amount of gold, and hopefully we get a chance to see it later on in the game, that this Requiem is going to give him. Now he's got his mythic online, and once he's got more items online as P-Sweezy, he's fine. He's Alessandra.
A little close.
Meanwhile, hold on.
Good cage from Veigar to stop that. Does still get stunned from the ult or from outside the ulti. Dax looking to force this bot lane, but isn't going to amount to anything at all. Just the trade of some ultimates on the side of Baby. The Rift Herald is on Dax, and he's looking to pop this in the bot lane. His Dragon still has 30 seconds to spawn. Dax is going to try to recall. Isn't going to amount to anything. They're going to Rift Herald this bot lane. Yeah. That tower is as good as gone.
That is going to be the tower gone. It does look like the Drake's online, right? So the Drake's coming up in 20 seconds. They're going to be able to get the tower. Oh, yeah, they'll get it. Antunes will say, oh no, my God, no!
It's so close. They're inting for it, but they're forcing, or they're choosing to save their HP bars for this Dragon. YUBI Red is down here, ready to fight. Dragon coming up in 2 seconds. That was a little sus coming from Baby. Trying to greed for that tower, does not get it. Janna Shield making sure of that at the end of that. Jaffe is up in the top lane, does have TP coming up, but YUBI are already on this Dragon, and I think this Hex Drake is as good as theirs.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's the Janna Shield on the turret. They weren't ready for that. Antunes walks up, he says it's one auto away, it's fine. Bill, he says no. My ability for some reason can shield turrets, so I'm going to abuse that. That is going to allow. Well, it's going to allow them to force out the Cannon Barrage at least, which it's not on quite as long as a timer when you have that Essence Reaver, but nevertheless, it is still a key cooldown they'll have to expend, and ultimately that is going to be another Drake for the side of YUBI. We haven't really talked much about this mid lane so far, and we may not have even more time because it looks like Dax he's up for round 2 here, and Utility Monster's read it already.
At this point, this has been round 4 because every time Dax comes from the base, he goes straight to a lane to fight. And the bot tier 1 finally falls to minions. I don't know if any local gold was picked up, unfortunately, but still global gold is global gold. And the gold lead so far, speaking of which, is in Baby's favor 2K. just from the 2 turrets they've gotten in the top lane and bot lane. And I would say the first strike is amounting to about, let's say, 500 of that gold.
Between these two champions, most likely. And as we can see, I am going to be talking, I think, a lot about items this game, because it is going to be really key as we get into these later fights, because a lot of these teams are just centered around the amount of raw damage they can pump out. And Jaffe's now got 2 items online. He's hit a massive damage spike in terms of the amount of how easily he's going to be able to pop squishies if he gets 1 cannon shot on them. Barrel on them. On the other side, we do have Civiloc's got that Titanic Hydra, but overall, you know, there's not that much damage on YUBI. There's a lot of tank, but there's not that much damage. They've made it work so far, but, you know, the damage is really starting to come out now for the side of Baby. And YUBI are aware of this, so they are going to try to continue to, you know, press for neutral objectives. They managed to pick up the Herald, and now they can try to make a beeline down here into the mid lane, knock themselves down a turret as well, even things out.
They could. Karthus is trying to get his paycheck, though. It's payday, and he's going to get a little bit of gold for that one. Just popping the ulti to sort of ward them out of the mid lane, saying, you can't get this for free at least. And the amount of damage that was given was not enough to really force them out, but like we said before, this first strike scaling, I mean, the GP ult, or the first strike from GP ult earlier granted him a little bit gold. The ulti from Luru right now, giving him some in his pocket. It's just a first strike scaling diff. What do you think?
It's definitely going to amount to somewhat of it's contributing somewhat to this 2.5k gold lead that Baby have for sure. As we can see, I mean, there's 2 minutes left on this Drake. It's quite crucial because I don't think Baby want to be giving away soul point necessarily. But neither team, you know, really do want to be, you know, contributing too heavily. Let's just have a look at what both teams can contribute in terms of if the team fight does break out in about 2 minutes' time, which it probably will, either over Drake or Baron. I think it's going to be the Drake. Red has got TP. Jaffe's got TP. Jaffe may just elect not to match, just throw his cannon barrage down and say thank you. I'll take a free push.
Right.
P-Sweezy's got the TP advantage, of course, in this bot side, which he is continuing to match on Civiloc. We haven't really spoken about this mid lane matchup, but it really has been in Sweezy's favor because he's always got the push and he's the one who's allowed to roam. Civiloc hasn't really been able to, but Sweezy has. And I think once again, he's been doing a lot of work on this Lissandra, one of his comfort picks. That could be a difference contributor in this fight. Nevertheless, that's just a lot of what we're summing up here. I will see if it, as I said, about a minute now. And are they able to get one more recall off, get themselves as much itemization as possible for this next fight? Let's see what happens.
One thing I do want to bring up while we still have the time, this Prowler's Claw build on GP, I've been seeing Prowler's Claw being prioritized on a lot of champions now, and I'm really liking it because not only is it a very similar gold value item from its Duskblade Superior, not only that, but there's something that the gold doesn't factor in terms of stats, and that is a dash. Dashes are very hard to come by in terms of, or depending on the champion. And the amount of worth that the potential dash could, you know, stick onto an enemy champion is worth an amount of gold that's not listed on the price, and it really makes me happy to see this item become meta again.
It's an extremely gold efficient item, yeah. Also, of course, the mythic passive granting a huge amount of flat lethality, which any lethality scaling champion like GP is going to love because it does mean he's going to be able to get those one shots with his barrels. As we can see, that Herald was saved. They did manage to take the mid-tier turret, tier 1, without it, and that means it's going to be going into the bot lane, and that is going to allow them additional pressure as YUBI have first dibs on this Drake.
Preluding the fight with a Karthus ult and taking a little bit of damage for YUBI. Dax is going in to try to steal it. Does not amount to anything. The Hex Gate was not in time. The bust was just a little bit late. But Glacial and a Skarner ult will pull Antunes away from his team. Will for sure secure him. Civiloc forced to flash over the wall after getting cornered by Baby. Good ulti from Hecarim, but better ulti from Jenna to push him away. Still is going to get the kill, even through exhaust, and Skarner's going to go down as well, but YUBI Reds in the backline is picking up some kills. Dax looking to trade Freelancer. It's so close, and I think Freelancer is going to be going down here. Meanwhile, Red is going to be able to pick up the rest of the fight. Jaffe running away for his life. Does get slowed, does get interrupted, does die during the flash. That's got to feel so bad for Jaffe, but YUBI pick up a 3 for 5 and soul point.
Unbelievable. There are a few things I do want to wonder about in that game. We see, in that fight, Jaffe pops the cannon barrage, TPs as well, walks in, does get one big barrel off. But I do wonder what was going on there. There was some real miscommunication from the side of Baby in that fight. Antunes walks up. He's trying to apply pressure as the Karma. He gets ulted. He gets stung immediately by Civillock. He gets impaled, pulled in. He gets exploded. Then Dax chooses to follow up. Then the fight gets separated. Jaffe is trying to kill squishies because that's what the GP does. He knows he won't kill tanks. But as you said, Champion Red, he's on the backside. He may be a tank, but he is destroying these squishies right now as this Mundo. Look how big he is after that. He's 2 items already, 6 and 2. Absolute unit on this Mundo. And I mean, I thought it was going to be the Urgot we were looking for. It's definitely going to be the Mundo this game. And yeah, it's a tank supremacy.
100% is. Honestly, Sunfire Cape is such a good item now, post season 10, but with it being called Sunfire Aegis, I believe.
Sunfire Aegis, yes.
It's very valuable with it both giving armor and MR. I mean, there's not many items that double dip into the hybrid tank, or into like both stats of tank rather, is what I should say. And it is, with the Hull Breaker being on top of that, this Mundo is going to be extremely hard for Baby to kill later on in the game. And even now, I would say that they're going to have some struggle killing Red.
He just flat bought an Anathema's Chains. That's very scary.
Did I say Hull Breaker? I did not mean to say Hull Breaker.
Yeah.
I looked at the item. I knew what the item was, but it's Anathema's Chains.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, I was mostly reeling Batweller because I saw that item pop up. I'm like, oh no.
Yep.
So someone's not going to be allowed to play the game now. It's either Jaffe or Luru most likely.
It does beg the question. Hull Breaker on Mundo. What do you think about it?
Sure. I mean, if he wants to, yeah, why not? It's still an OP item. It got nerfed to range, but nevertheless, yes, Red is going to split push, but he doesn't really need a Hull Breaker. No one on Baby is matching him right now.
That is for sure.
Yeah, and right now we have another Drake. You know, after all that extended fight and us, reading a little bit after that previous encounter, we have another Drake coming up in less than 2 minutes.
Trying to trade it with the Primordial Burst. P-Sweezy's going to be able to pick up what looks to be 2 as Bill the Pony's fighting for his life. It pops the Shirelias, but still standing still. P-Sweezy solo on that one. 2 for 0 so far for Baby, as Dax getting planted away. Is going to reward himself with a red buff from Utility Monster. Baby's starting to take control of the game again.
They are. That's really well played from Baby. I was going on about hold on, I'll hold the thought.
No, Dax
just a little bit.
It can't really burst a Civil, or it can't really burst an Urgot as well as you think it can.
No, not necessarily. Not when possibly if the Frozen Tomb was available, then they might actually go for it. But nevertheless, that is going to be if the tank isn't there, right? So as you mentioned, the Hullbreaker Mundo isn't. It has some relevancy mentioning it here, Werler, because he goes into the bot lane, tries to set up a push, which Jaffe is forced to match. But if he's not there, then the rest of his team, Freelancer, Bill the Pony, they're very susceptible because there is a Lissandra there. There is a Karma. They have ways of locking these champions down and they will go pop immediately. So that's a couple of crucial kills now being picked up from the side of Baby. They do still have a gold lead, despite the fact that, of course, a lot of the gold on the side of YUBI is on the Mundo. However, as we move in 20 seconds on Drake, let us know that...
Oh, no. Flash coming out from Antunes to stay away from that one. Carthur's going to pick up an ulti. We're back to the 5v5 fight, and P-Sweezy going in for a self-frozen tomb is going to get knocked out by Janna, forced to Zanya's. Good cage from Vygar to sort of ward off the fight a little bit. Champion Red doing what he does best, getting a kill on the back line. P-Sweezy going down. Luru being taken very low. Utility Monster running for his life. Dax is in the middle of the fight, but Civillock gets picked up by Jaffe. They're starting to push this one out. Jaffe pumping out lots of damage, but the W from Vygar finds Dax in the face, and that's their jungler down. And they're looking to turn the dragon in their favor. Walls from Vygar is going to be zoning them away. Will they be able to get this one? Antunes, Luru, and Jaffe taken very low against a very tanky YUBI, and this Hex Dragon Soul should be as good as theirs. GP all being popped. They're not giving up this one without a fight. Taking up to 2,000. They're going to be able to slay it, and that's going to be theirs. Karma Q falling just short, It is so close. That could have actually stolen it, I do believe, if it did connect. But they are going to get their soul for the game and take it with pride, honestly, as they as Baby seems to get a little bit of vision on the Baron side of the map, trying to cut their losses.
So the event horizon, yeah, as some call the baby cage. So much value in that fight. It sets up that initial pick. Again, I believe it was. I think it was onto Luru actually. Either way, they get caught out in the choke point because once again, YUBI, who time and again have been first to these neutral objectives and setting themselves up with vision, with control of the choke points. Crucial. They take the initial pick. Again, Dax isn't allowed to play the game because he keeps getting forced into these cages by trying to engage onto Freelancer, who's having a great game on the Veigar. I was worried about him subbing in for Jeff God, but he's having a really good game. And as we mentioned, the Mundo, he's able to frontline for the entire team on his own. And that damage they aren't able to get that damage they need because the range isn't there. So once again, YUBI do walk away with a bit of a victory. They do pick themselves up the soul. It was super narrowly. I gasped for a moment there because I thought Antunes had nabbed it, but not quite. That is going to be a soul over. That's just more additional damage and slow, of course, for the side of YUBI. And now perhaps they're going to be both of these sides looking to make a play on the Baron.
And before that even happens, that does beg the question once again, with Jeff God Gamer being subbed out. With this spicy draft that we're watching live, I'm curious to see if Jeff God Gamer was in place of Freelancer this game, if this draft would be similar, if not the same.
They would normally play, I think, around him with something a little bit more hyper carry focused. I mean, of course, Veigar, yeah. He's got a lot of AP at this point in the game. He's been stacking AP freely. He's very welcome now to build full tank if he wants to. As it does look like, they're just going to clear vision. But nevertheless, he could build full tank now if he wants to. He'd still one-shot everything that isn't Dax at this point, because that's the way Veigar is. He's going to scale AP infinitely anyway. So all he needs is 2 items. As it is going to be a play on Baron. Dax is here this time, but
Red and P Sweezy do have both of their TPs. Jaffe is on the side of bot, though, looking to help P Sweezy out on here. So far, it is 3v4 in the top lane Baron take. They've restarted the Baron. They don't have too much DPS for this Baron, so it's going down rather slow. GPL to help them with that. They're going to back off with that and take the ulti and cash out as they may. I'm not too sure exactly what they're going to be doing here. They can't really burst down Baron too fast with their comp.
No, the Urgot's got quite a bit of damage to deal with it, but as you said, hold on.
Oh, right into the Veigar cage. Event Horizon with the Karthus ulti is going to force Build the Pony to run away from that Freelancer blowing his Flash champion. Red is here in the flesh, ready to pressure this game for the team. They're going to have another stab at the Baron as Red is able and ready to ward off Baby as much as he can as he's sitting on the red side of their jungle. Dax is fluttering around. He's going to look to try to steal this one. 6,000 on the Dragon. They are aware of Dax's presence. And Luru is coming from the behind. I'm not too sure exactly what he's going to apply here, but Dax is getting suppressed up. Baron is reset once again. Dax is running amok and stunned, suppressed again, and killed. Double kill with a solo in the back for Karma for YUBI as they run this one up. Luru is going to pick up Civillock, who was a little too low and a little too far out as Red, oh my god, wow, Flash Prowler from Jaffe is going to secure Freelancer, is going to trade his life, and then Utility Monster is going to pick up a free P Sweezy to bring the 2 for 5 for YUBI. Not too much threat going on with these champions that we see, though. I don't think it's going to amount to an inhibitor.
No, with the amount of damage they have left after that fight, going back, I will just say, look, YUBI are running Baby around the map at the moment. They make an initial play on the Baron. They bait out the Cannon Barrage. The Cannon Barrage goes down. They say, look, we'll disengage. We'll play it out. We'll do it again. Red comes in. He completely splits off, the backline from the fight here. Dax tries to get round to get a steal angle. They turn on him. Luru, for some reason, I think that might have been a mistake, but either way, he ends up on the back line with the flanking Karthus, a very scary proposition. But nevertheless, Red, once again, if he's allowed to get onto squishies, he will one-shot them. He's got a Titanic now. He's he can 1v5 and he'll take 2 with him at least.
My God.
So, like, at this point, yes, Jaffe can one-shot, but he's just not given the opportunity to do so. That again, it's a tank supremacy. There's a lot of damage. Baby have the damage advantage, but it doesn't matter if they can't kill anyone and if they're not going to be split up in fights, because they need to. Dax needs to frontline, but he's too worried about these objectives just going down too quickly, because of course there is, the point being that there's going to be an Elder. Let's just put that aside. There's an Elder burger flip. That's what Baby need to win this game now. Right. And they have an opportunity in 20 seconds time.
And it's going to be make or break for Baby at this point in the game because of the fact that they can't kill anyone. Dak going in for the ulti immediately. Freelancer does take a little bit of damage, but not enough to really amount to anything. Suppress coming out, and Dax will be going down for free. Civillock that follow, as well as a Frozen Tomb from P. Sweezy, is going to be traded with ease. So far, it is 2 for 1 in the favor of YUBI, as this Elder Drake is up. They still have a jungler accessible. This is going to be as good as theirs. Baby tried to make the effort to turn it around, but unfortunately, it was all for naught. And this Elder is going to go right into their pockets.
What do you do now, man? Like the Baron's theirs for YUBI as well. And
yeah, they're just going to pick it up. There's nothing that Baby can do about this. They're making their way to Baron right now, pushing up the mid lane to stall some time. 2 members of Baby are up, and Dax is coming up. Potentially, Dax can get there in time. I mean, they don't take it very fast. So let's see exactly what can happen here.
Well, the Cannon Barrage isn't available. I really don't see a world in which Baby... Antunes is going to try! Go on, Antunes!
Oh, no. Oh, he's just going to hit the ward. Not enough. They're going to be able to sneak away that Baron with ease. Double buff team on the side of YUBI. At this point, it's just YUBI's game.
It really is. And the key thing in that previous fights, there's 2 things. One, again, Dax is trying to engage. His team... they have engaged, yes, they've got a Lissandra and stuff, but they have poke, they have a Gangplank and a Karthus, and that's where all their damage is lying. As we thank you for the observers, they're casually noting that this Veigar is now 900 AP.
Oh, wow.
This is not bad. It's not bad. It's quite a lot of AP.
Considering Veigar scalings are nearly 100% across the board.
Yeah. And he can scale freely now. As I said, if he wanted to, Freelancer's continuing to build AP items. He could build full tank now. He could build Anathema's Chains himself. Many Veigars do. Nevertheless, that previous fight, I'll go back to one more time. Red is truly unkillable. Like, he's actually unkillable. Like, no one on the side of Baby can do anything. He could walk into the base right now. He'll take an inhib on his own. Like, it's so scary. Yeah, I don't know what Baby do.
5,000 health, a bunch of resistances, Anathema's Change to reduce more damage, Elder and Baron. I mean, Red can just win the game himself. I mean, go ahead and take that in Tower. You got it.
They're gonna play it out. As we can see, thank you for the observers once again. That's a 1,500 goal. That's a lot of first strike, but it's against an Elder, man.
Utility Monster getting the flash and the impale on to Jaffe is going to take out one of their only main damage dealers, and I think YUBI are going for the end. The 3-0 streak of Baby is going to be given up if they can end this game here. Cage from Veigar is going to amount to nothing, but this Elder Drake is going to tick down Dax, and he's going to blow up to that. Good ulti from Karthus to get them very low, but it's not enough to amount to anything, as all 5 members of Baby are indeed dead, and YUBI are going to take game 2 in the most weird way possible. I mean, for the most hyped game of the week, we got one heck of a draft.
We did indeed, Whirler. And YUBI say, look, you'll get a drop on us once in the lock-in. Doesn't matter. We are the returning champions, and we're here to win this league again. And they pull it out in as you said, a complete pivot on their draft. Crazy draft indeed. But again, it's a tank supremacy. And Red, he lived up to the hype again.
I would say so. I mean, top lane Red, never seen it in previous seasons. Seeing it now, I am shaking in my boots.
Yeah, crazy game. And to be honest, it was a very close game for a long time. I think Baby weren't able to play around their kind of win con because they did have damage, but they had poke and they weren't able to utilize that poke. Right. And particularly when you're drafting against tanks, sustained tanks like Mundo, then the poke just isn't quite as powerful, to be honest. And the amount of frontline they have a Veigar with infinite scaling on the back. I think that this was, as you mentioned, it was one hell of a draft, and I think YUBI demonstrated just their versatility and their brains. They've always been a team that have said they want to outsmart their opponents as opposed to outhands them, and they showed it once again here. Huge credit to them. They're the team to beat, the reigning champions. And baby, I think they'll have a lot to think about. They'll want to be coming back to equalize this soon enough.
You all can look forward to more information and details about this game in the next edition of FOF Connect. Stay tuned for that, and stay tuned again for an interview with our winners, the proud to represent FOF YUBI. We are excited to see what this team can do. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. Chris Edgeworth here with our second interview tonight, and I am joined this time by Freelancer of the bot lane. This time, how you feeling, my man, after the win?
I am doing great. Thank you so much, Chris. It was a fairly straightforward game.
Now let's start off with setting the table stakes for this coming into the end of our second week. This was the last matchup of the undefeateds, so we are now a team that has decided first place. So congratulations to you folks on that. What was it like getting prepared coming into this battle of the undefeated?
Yeah, so Utility Monster, the captain of YUBI, knew that Jeff God Gamer wasn't going to be able to make it, and asked me if I could sub for this game. And on that day, 2 weeks ago, asked me to play Veigar. So that was known well in advance. And just kind of preparing for this, for a new role, I got a bunch of practice games in with Build Pony. And I've already, I've played 2 seasons of FWolf with UB and played with them ahead of time. So we already had that coordination and those expectations going forward. And that was really nice.
Let's talk about this specific draft because apparently the Veigar was by request so much in advance, but then also it was a very interesting matchup with you shifting into the bot lane because it was actually a mage matchup. It was a Karthus into Veigar matchup, an old school traditional mid lane matchup, but this time you both get some caddies. Like you're some old golfer guys out on the course. So what was it like in this drafting into this composition and then the early matchup for you in the bot side?
Sure. So for the matchup bot side, I used to be a Veigar one trick, so I'm very comfortable on the champion. I obviously would play Veigar mid lane mostly, but I'm just very comfortable on the champion in general. And used to play into Karthus, used to play it, whatever I needed to play it into. And then the bot lane itself, Karthus wasn't very aggressive throughout the early game. Karma was decently aggressive, but it was passive enough that I wasn't feeling kind of pressured out of lane. I could farm up, get strong, absorb a whole ton of ganks from Hecarim and Lissandra, and they actually got a lot of plates and tire pressure, but while we were just kind of getting forced off and they were getting a little bit more gold, we were getting a ton on the top side thanks to Red's fantastic performance, as well as the performance of Utility Monster and Civilak.
Well, in the end, you were stacked all the way to the top, 1,000 AP, or just about right at the end of the game. So that, going straight to Challenger on your first game in the bot lane. So as our burgeoning Tyler 1 here in Friend or Foe, what position do you think that you would like to conquer next?
Look, I hear that I have a 30% win rate jungle Kindred, but if I can get a win on Kindred in FOF on UB, I'll be very happy.
All right, well, we'll be on the lookout for that. Maybe, unfortunately, for your teammates, who remains to be seen. As always, Freelancer, thank you so much for this interview. Before we step away, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to leave with us?
Just shout out to everyone watching. A shout out to UB for always being so fun to play with, and a good luck to all the teams for the rest of the season.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to be it for this interview. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with our third game of the night, so don't go anywhere.
found a little bit of light, trying to find my heart. Honey, when I break out a lifestyle dark. Honey, when I write, get a tight flow spark. With a psycho chart, playing dice, go start. Oh, who are you? Better know yourself. Know your soul, gotta know your wealth. Slow your roll, get a hold, don't melt. And don't you fall when I feel like hell. Well, who am I? Am I me? I'm not the one you wanna fuck with. Late nights messing up my sleep, so I'm flustered. Taking out aggression with my pen because I trust it. Writing, trying to get myself a lamb color cut for the game. Leave him hanging by his chain. Click, bang, feeling rage, feeling fire in my brain, feel insane. And it's story, feel the flame. 45 to my brain, praying for it. Please fail, no glory. So I'm flustered, taking out aggression with my pen because I trust it. But you trying to get myself a lamb color custard.
Remember, I used to be that kid that every day would get rejected. Y'all got my story, the glory was painted on a song. I'm mortified but feel immortal. This pen to this paper always open up different portals. It's I and me, it's me and I'm by myself. I'm down the ride, I'm taking on the tide. Size of tsunamis touching the sky. I got a quick scan. It's time to move, leaving everything else behind. I got something to prove. I'm just riding away, no, I ain't running away. I got memories set, oh, I'm just finding my place where I belong to. Feeling glory in my soul. Hey, I'm riding away, I'm finding my place. Yeah, I gotta escape, that's what I gotta do. See you on the other side, see you on the other side, see you on the other side. Yeah, oh no.
Constantly changing, always rearranging, always rearranging, always rearranging. That is constantly changing, always rearranging, always rearranging. is constantly changing. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. That is constantly changing. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. Always rearranging.